Yo, what's up? That's your boy back at y'all with another one. Shouts out to the LDBC. Let's get right down to business. Also, subscribe to the Patreon. Leave a link to the Patreon when this stream is over with. Zion Williamson, the star player out of for the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, if you remember back in 2019, way before this dude even played an NBA game, right? This dude was hit with $100 million lawsuit from a sports marketing agency, right? Matter of fact, this sports marketing agency was named by Prime Sports Marketing LLC. Yeah, Prime Sports. I'm sorry. So it was Prime Sports that hit Zion with this $100 million lawsuit. Now, this legal action came a week after the 18-year-old sued Prime Sports allegedly that a contract that he signed back in April 2019 did not contain the language mandated by North Carolina law, right? So you had these lawsuits that's on the table for Zion Williamson, and the judge ruled in favor of Zion Williamson, right? Now, the district judge Loretta Biggs in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, ruled yesterday that the marketing agent Gina Ford's contract with Williamson was void because Ford was not a licensed agent in the state at the time she met with Williamson, and because the contract did not comply with key requirements outlined by the state's sports agent law. The lawsuit against Zion Williamson was thrown out. Now, the act requires that the contract includes warnings explaining how hiring agents cause athletes to forfeit their amateur status. It also requires such contracts to include a disclaimer giving athletes 14 days to cancel. Now, the counterclaim included allegations of tortious interference, CAA interfered with business relationship between Zion and Prime Sports, as well as just enrichment of theft and trade secrets, whatever the hell that means. That's not more than filler. But I'm glad to see that Zion Williamson won this lawsuit. Now he can focus on basketball and turn this team around because this team stinks. What's up, John Howard? Salute to you, homie. Stephanie, how you doing today, sweetie? Yeah. Straight up. And, for all you athletes out there, especially you guys coming out of college, right? This serves as a warning, right? Like when you get involved in any kind of deals, right? Whether it be buying a car, buying a house, going into business with someone, right? I'm doing all right. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to survive one day at a time, right? Whatever you decide to get yourself into, know the rules of the game before you play it. Know who the players are involved in what you're getting into, right? That way you don't get hoodwinked, you don't get duped, you don't get misled or lied to, right? So it's good that Zion Williamson wins this lawsuit, right? Get people around you that's gonna, if you don't understand the language and the lingo that's in these contracts and all that, get some people around you that do know. Take it to somebody reputable. Don't be going to nobody shady, right? And get the facts by your side. Get everything you need to know about whatever by your side. That way, when you go into litigation, when you go into a lawsuit, you have the ammunition necessary to come out on top. What's up, William Bird? Unique Don, what's up? Appreciate y'all for being in the chat room today. Now, I appreciate you, John Howard, for loving the channel, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. Now, Zion Williamson came off a game against the Utah Jazz, which they lost. He had 32 points in that game. and he had like 5 rebounds. But yeah, I'm glad to see that Zion Williamson came out on top on this case. When you're a valued asset like Zion Williamson was, because look, Zion Williamson is a once in a generation talent, right? When you have that kind of generational talent, everybody, and I do mean everybody, gonna want a piece of that pie. There's gonna be a lot of people out there that's gonna want to make money off of you, right? That's why you have to know who you're dealing with. You have to know who you're dealing with, right? That means getting some people around you to do some background checks, doing some investigations and all that. Make sure everything's on the up and up. Everything, I mean, all T's got to be crossed, all I's got to be dotted. There cannot be one thing off. If there's anything that's off when it comes to any kind of contract negotiations, the deal is off. It's off. Now each state has their own set of requirements for how something is done, right? Each state has its own requirements when it comes to sports marketing or signing contracts or things like that. Just because you're a licensed agent in one state, well, you're not a licensed agent in another state, so you can't be doing any dealings in that state if you're not a licensed agent. There's a lot of the inner workings behind the scenes that, truth be told, don't get talked about enough. We talked about the game itself, right? We talk a lot about the game. We break it down from who's the greatest player to who's the greatest teams, who's the best defensive player, who's the best offensive player, this, that, and the third. But what doesn't get talked about enough is the business side. Because there are a lot of sharks out there that is willing and able to make money off these athletes. These athletes put their body on the line every day in the weight room, mentally, right? Nutrition-wise, going down the court, practicing, right? Getting involved in games, getting contact, all that, right? They put their bodies on the line every day. And then we see these people out here that look at them as nothing than an opportunity to make more money for themselves. And then when they're done with them, when the player can't perform no more, then they jump off them and go on to the next person. That's the next big thing. What's up, 3000 Degrees, man? Salute to you. I'll put a link in the chat room, and you guys come and tell me what you guys think about this. But I'm happy for Zion Williamson. Now he can focus on the actual game itself. He's not distracted by litigations and lawsuits and, people out there trying to make money off of him and all that. Disgusting the way these guys get, and we can go down the line of many examples of, players that, either they didn't have the right people around them or, or whatever. And then next thing you know, they got themselves in a situation they can't get out of. Straight up. So it's a great thing. Now, another person I want to, now we got that out the way, we're going to stay on the New Orleans Pelicans. And I want to talk about this particular individual. Now, he's played for several teams throughout his career, Clippers, Suns, Bucks, or what have you. I know we got on Lonzo Ball for his poor play, but another person that deserves just as much blame for why the Pelicans are struggling right now is the one and only Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe has been a disaster for the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, you can blame it on coaching when you got him and Lonzo in the lineup at the same time. I really don't agree with that strategy, whatever like that, right? You could blame on the fact that, he's on a team with, Brandon Ingram is, commanding a lot of the usage along with Zion or what have you, right? You could blame it on his injuries or whatever. But at the end of the day, right, no matter how you slice that apple pie, at the end of the day, it's still an apple pie. And Eric Bledsoe has been awful. He's been awful. Now, I talked about him when he was on the Milwaukee Bucks, when I was like, man, this dude is going to cap the ceiling of the Milwaukee Bucks. He has been awful. Even in the game against the Utah Jazz, he's been, oh man. He's just been bad. Really, really bad. Now if we go to Eric Bledsoe's game log. So on January 19th, which was 2 days ago, what's up, TJ? 24 minutes, only had 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Just not good, right? Not necessarily Hall of Fame numbers, right? Then, if you go to the game in Sacramento, well, he should have had a good game against Sacramento because Sacramento don't play no fucking defense at all. In that game, he had 21.6 rebounds, 1 assist. Okay. Good numbers against a bad team in Sacramento. They are horrible. They need to fire goddamn Luke Walton, man. Straight up. The Lakers game on the 15th of January, 7 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and a block, and 3 turnovers. He didn't play in the Clippers game because he was hurt. And the Charlotte game on January 8th, 8 points, 1 rebound, 6 assists, 2 steals. The game against OKC on the 6th, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. The game against Indiana, 12 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. The game against Toronto, this was a good game he had, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists. The game against OKC, he had 17 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. The game against Phoenix back in December 29th, 7 points, 2 assists, and a steal. The game against San Antonio, 7 points, 2 assists, and a block, and a steal. The game against Miami on Christmas, 5 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal. The game against Toronto, he had a decent game with 18 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists. This dude has been awful. He has been terrible. This is why the Milwaukee Bucks got him up out of there. He's been terrible. And you can blame it on whatever you want to blame it on, but I just listed off this dude's statistics or whatever like that. He has been terrible. And he needs to step it up. A guy on the team that's been outplaying him has been Nickeil Alexander-Walker. The few games that Nickeil Alexander-Walker's got in the lineup, he's actually been outplaying both Lonzo and goddamn on Eric Bledsoe. So if I'm Stan Van Gundy, I would consider making a lineup change. Now, that will come at the now Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he will command some usage, so that's going to hurt Brandon Ingram and Zion a little bit. But you can't take away the Pelicans are they're 5-8 right now. This is 10th season out of Kentucky. Eric Bledsoe, 10 years in the NBA, and you're playing like this. When you got Nickeil Alexander-Walker, a rookie, outplaying you and Lonzo. Now, this is Lonzo's 4th year in the league. No excuse for him to be playing like this. And I don't want to hear nothing but his injury and all that, because the dude been playing like trash. But Eric Bledsoe, man, like, I wanted to believe in this dude, but this dude just, man, he averages 11.9 points. That is like 2 points below his career average. Well, 2.1 to be exact. His field goal percentage is lower than career average. His 3-point percentage is actually higher than his career average. His free throw percentage is lower than his career average. His player efficiency rating is below his career average. He just been awful. And this dude averages 28 minutes a game. Damn near 30 minutes. And he's just trash. He just been trash. And even if you go to the per 36-minute statistics, he only averaging 15 points a game per goddamn on 36 minutes. But what about his defense, though? You know, Eric Bledsoe is a great defensive player. Shout out to Jeffrey Weaver in the building, man. I appreciate you, right? What about his defensive statistics? Because a lot of these guys that like to make arguments about, whether a player is good or not, what I'm saying? Well, you only look at things from the offensive side of the ball, but what about his defense? Well, what about his defense? His defensive rating is a 113, right? Now, for those of you who don't know how the defensive ratings work, right? It's scale. The default scale is at 100, right? Anything below 100 is good. Anything above 100, well, let's just say from 100 to 110 is mediocre. And if you above 110, you're pretty horrible defensively, right? His defense at a 113 defensive rating. That's not good. So he's not good on the offensive end. He's not good on the defensive end, right? Because if you watch the game from a couple nights ago, right? There were a couple players in that first quarter that stood out, right? On opening possession, on the Utah Jazz first possession, right? Because they got the ball off of they got the ball off a steal. It was off a turnover. That's what it was. Either a steal or a turnover or a missed shot. Either way, the Pelicans didn't score. So the Jazz were bringing the ball up the court. You had Bledsoe either on the wing looking at Bogdanovich. He's pointing to Steven Adams or somebody. He's pointing at Donovan Mitchell, pointing for somebody to get on Donovan Mitchell. Well, you can't expect Steven Adams to contain Donovan Mitchell, right? You can't. I want to play the video, but I don't want to get no copyright strike by YouTube or whatever. So I don't, I can't play the video, unfortunately, right? But they do have the highlights on NBA.com. But if you go to that specific play early in the first quarter, you had Eric Bledsoe pointing at Donovan Mitchell for somebody to get on him, right? The nearest person to Donovan Mitchell was Steven Adams, right? Look, that first step after Steven Adams called himself trying to get on Donovan Mitchell was a complete mismatch because Donovan Mitchell blows by Steven Adams en route to a layup, right? But he worried about Bogdanovich with the three. Man, look, last time I checked, right, scoring the three-point shot is a more difficult shot than a layup. So I would rather leave Bogdanovich open, and I know a lot of people say, man, well, Bogdanovich can shoot. Big deal, right? There's a 50-50 chance when he shoots the ball either goes in or it won't go in. So I'm going to take my chances on him not making the three than to give up an easy layup. Then later on in the first quarter, in another possession by the Jazz, he gets burned off a cut by Donovan Mitchell. Eric Bledsoe had I don't know what the defensive concept is on this particular play, but you had Eric Bledsoe not paying attention, looking where the ball was. Donovan Mitchell slices in, cuts behind goddamn Eric Bledsoe en route to an easy layup. If I'm Stan Van Gundy, I'm looking to make some lineup changes because this is unacceptable. Eric Bledsoe's play has been unacceptable. Now his usage rate has took a dip since going to the Pelicans. That's to be expected considering that you had Zion who commands a lion's share of the usage, right? Because when Zion gets the ball, he most likely has to operate on the inside, back a person down, and then get his shots up that way. Then you got Brandon Ingram. In times during the game, Brandon Ingram, be the primary ball handler. And in my opinion, if you want to make it to where Brandon Ingram is the primary ball handler, he's bringing it up, he's dictating the offense. You see that a lot. You saw that a lot when Brandon Ingram was in LA under Luke Walton, right? This was before LeBron got there, right? Because Lonzo was stinking up the joint. So they got some adjustments they need to make because this right here, man, look, this is unacceptable, man. It is. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. The Pelicans, they got a game tonight against the Utah Jazz again. And they need to get this win. Because right now they're sitting like, what are you at in the Western Conference standings? They're 12th in the Western Conference. But if they can start putting some things together, they can catch the Spurs. The Spurs is only like 8-7 right now. Spurs came off a blowout loss against the Golden State Warriors last night. So just not good. Tell me what you guys think, man. I'll be back later on today. We will talk some more stuff. Right? Might dip into the political realm and talk about, what's Joe Biden's agenda look like. I covered it yesterday on the live stream or whatever, but we're going to talk more about that here later on at some point. All right. Bishop, what do you think about Zion and the Pelicans so far up to this point? And tell me what you think about Zion Williamson and his situation, his win in that lawsuit. This your boy. Scream at me. Oh!